I'm going to push back a little here now, and it's not meant as a jab in particular, but let's put. I want to frame something to you now, because I know what you're getting involved with in Independent Ireland. And it sounds principally good, but like I'm somebody that likes to push at the details. But the media have framed you two guys in a particular way, in a heavy way. And Noel, you found this with Brian Dobson on RTE recently as well. Now, I pick up my newspaper Examiner yesterday, and Independent Ireland have announced that Ciaran Mullooly, 27 years in RTE, is the candidate for Midlands North-West. So, just on the optics front, how independent are you to talk on stuff like that? You know, he's going to be a candidate for us here. I don't know much about Ciaran. He could be a good guy, but like the optics of it for me, when I'm looking at it as somebody that's kind of saying, because I do want something good to come out of the ground, the foundations of the country, to replace what you're talking about. How do you feel, or do you have input on decisions like that?
No, well, obviously we don't have input on decisions like that. I mean, we couldn't have, really and truly. But let's put it this way, Jerry. Put it as if you looking at me, say, the first time I ever came out, let's just change that. Actually, let's go back and say that if I hadn't spoken to the likes of yourself, say, going back a long time ago, or come out openly on certain issues that were against the grain, according to Fianna Fáil, right? And then all of a sudden, then today, I had decided that I was going to join in with Independent Ireland. Mm-hmm. Now, surely to God, that would raise a lot of red flags with you as well. You'd have to say, where is this lad going to? He's just jumping ship or whatever, and just trying to save his ass for the next election or whatever, right? But,
well, I know that's not true from the deals we've had in the 9 months. That's why I'm asking you the question.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make on that, Jerry, is put it this way, you talk about Ciaran there a minute ago. Now, I know myself, I've had an awful lot of media, say, interviews done over this, particularly over the last 6 months or so anyway. But there's people who are easy to deal with in the media, and there are people that aren't. And there's good and bad in every organisation. And as I said, I know some of the people in RTE, they're the finest people you could ever sit down with. The Irish Independent, for example, there's some fantastic journalists in it. Same with Galway FM or the Connacht Tribune or any other media outlet you want to pick. There's always going to be good and bad in those groups. And I suppose people have different views on different things as well. And it's unfortunate, though, that when it comes to the media, that they push their views stronger, some people than others. Because if you're going to be doing an interview in the media, you should actually, be non-biased completely. So I said, when you see the likes of Brian Dobson the other day, and he tackled me, and first of all, he was nice and talking about the reasons why I left Fianna Fáil or whatever, and that was all fine. But then he quickly rushed into the whole idea, of the issue again. And I don't mind. I said it to him. I told him straight out, and I stuck to my word on it. That's as far as I'm concerned, that the vast majority of the Ukrainians who come into this country were not fleeing war. They came in here as economic migrants, and I stand by that, no problem. But what was quite amazing about it, now Brian Nelson wasn't happy to hear me saying that. He started cutting in and saying, but no, and he said, these people are being invaded by the Russians and all. But that's only a small part of Ukraine. It'd be like me fleeing Galway back at the time of the Troubles in the North, there wouldn't be much difference in the two. But I said, but the amazing thing about that was, 2 days later, the department make an announcement, and they come out with the announcement to say that the amount of Ukrainians seeking asylum here in this country has reduced by 66% since they dropped the welfare payments.
Yeah.
So, what does that tell you? I mean, he's like...
it's like everything else, and I want to get back to the point on what I'm making about Mullooly, because here's the reason I'm making it. I'm not purposely trying to have a go at Independent Ireland, but you take it like the way I look at it from, just the overview is, we'll take in Galway City, as far as I'm aware, Ali Turner has dropped out of Galway Bay FM, and he is going to be joining Fine Gael. You have Cynthia Ní Muraku, who's announced as an MEP candidate for Fianna Fáil in the MEP elections, and we have Ciaran Mullooly. All I'm saying is, it's the same when you're looking at something like that from the outside. You're thinking, the questions that come to me is, right, why are they doing it? It's the same playbook, name recognition locally, the face.
You got to imagine, Jerry, just stop me on that for 1 second. You got to imagine that, right? So here it was, three of us joining in with a new party, a brand new party.
Yeah.
we are joining in the hope that this party will be what we vision it to be in the future, like, right?
Yeah, and I know that. I accept that as true.
And so we cannot stay, come before you here in an interview today and tell you that this is exactly what it's going to be. It's all new for us as well. But all we can do, you see, as I said, is look at the policies that they're putting forward and hope that they'll stand by those policies. Because what I've seen so far in relation to it is all good. And that's what I'm hoping to be a part of into the future. And like you asked there a minute ago, just quickly about the migration policies that are there. So the stance from Independent Ireland in relation to the whole migration thing is that, and they're right in saying it, like, we actually have pretty strict migration policies in place in this country, but we are not enforcing them. And that's what the problem is. If we actually enforce the policies we have, we wouldn't have the issue we have today, so that's
it's like it bring Seamus, can I get your view on that, what we were just talking about there?
Well, on the media, I think the media were fed a different line. They were sold a pup completely by Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens. And I don't think the media were critical enough of Micheál Martin, Helen McEntee and Eamon Ryan. Because a lot of Eamon Ryan's utterances at the beginning of all the crisis around Christmas, our crisis in Rascal, we were scaremongering, people were afraid, and then a month later, people have genuine concerns and people are afraid and there's genuine fear in the community and we must do something about that fear. That's the same fear we were talking about a month before that when we were deemed as racist. Yeah. So and the Helen McEntee thing, I cannot understand the type of people that are electing her. Are they listening to her? She came out the other day and she said that she'd formulate a policy based on her advice from the Gardaí. Now, would it not be that she'd formulate the policy and that she'd advise the Gardaí on the policy?
Well, we've seen her get dissected by, to be fair,
there's something very wrong when you hear a Minister for Justice saying that she's going to take direction and impose the policies that the people that are working for her want it. Would she not say she'd do it for the people that elected her and the electorate and what they wanted?
Well, what's becoming clear is the head of this, the head of all this is, they're being informed by a special advisor class, an NGO class, and it's almost like they're being, not to be disrespectful, they're being fed lines and they don't actually understand what they're doing. I nearly
don't understand. It's obvious they don't understand what they're doing, because if they understood what they were saying, they wouldn't say it. And if I had a problem with the media, I think they weren't hard enough on the ministers to say, what are you actually saying here? They didn't.